nail that. I wrote the intro to the song first. And it was pretty simple. It just had a looping kind of vibe to it. And then I wrote some chords underneath that. And what I liked so much was that the part in and of itself was very major sounding, and as soon as you change the second chord from major to minor, it took on a different life, but you still had that major line going on above it, and I really liked the way that sounded, because you start listening to it and you're like, oh, this is a pretty song, and then you get to that second chord and you're like, oh, this took a left turn.
I remember jamming on this one for a long time. It started out as, as an organic jam, and from there, we had a lot of fun with it one day.
We jammed on it a couple different times. We actually tried to overcomplicate it with like a bunch of accents and these kind of like weird King Crimson timing.
And I remember trying to determine where the downbeat is and what we're gonna accent and how it's gonna sound, and it got so convoluted that we just put the song down for like weeks and maybe even months. And I was like, that song's okay, and then we revisited it and it was like, why are we overcomplicating this part? Just play what feels natural. We swim, the song sounded pretty similar to one of our songs from our first album called Clones. And so Mike had this story kind of continuing the narrative of what Clones was about. And we decided, cool, let's pursue that and make this song kind of like the part 2 and keep it in that same world. To survive, we must produce an enemy to drive them away.
So Cannibals quickly became Clones Part 2. I knew I wanted it to be about the cannibals and how the heroes of Clones needed to defeat their enemy somehow, so they had to seek out the cannibals and make a pact to fight a common threat, which are the clones. So that's what the story's about, and I didn't know exactly how to get there. I wrote an outline, I showed it to Matt, I was like, here's what I think. This whole delay section is going to be like the journey to the cannibals, and then once we get there, I'll figure out what we do. Matt and I sat down. We had like the marker board out. We were writing line by line, wish me well, I'm on my way to seek a common enemy at first. That was the line. And Matt had his guitar out, and each line he was figuring out the melody on his guitar, and we took a long time to craft this song.
So when it came time to write the guitar solo, I wanted it to be really lyrical and just bring the part to life as if somebody could sing that part, but it's on the guitar.
The drum highlight at the end of the song, I was excited about. I knew I wanted it to be one of those like big drum fill moments.